Okay, there are 3 telepathy viewers in this room alone, and the other buildings probably have many more. Well, better get started. I've long since learned I can't control the avatar in these viewers, and they probably are actual people. But for some reason, I just can't stop thinking about vampires randomly. It's like an earworm, it's just one of those things.
In all the cultures we infused, each human was affected by our genetic heritage in varying degrees. There were those in whom the gift was barely manifest, and some who developed a harmonious blend of traits. Others were highly elevated and deeply moved by the desire for new and deeper knowledge. To them we offered passage to our planet. Many chose to join us on our departure day. As our heritage brought enlightenment to Earth, so would their human diversity enrich the life of our home world. Our colony ship has long departed, leaving this outpost to carry out several decades of tasks. We intended to equip humanity with the knowledge and means to tap their planetary energies. But this final mission has come to an unfortunate end. We expected tremors and eruptions, but none as powerful as the recent quakes that have shaken this planet. Rivers of molten magma first turned our glorious world into a flaming cauldron. Then fissures tore through our land, and the mountain upon which the ship is anchored crumbled and sank beneath the sea. Only the protection of our energy sphere saved this outpost ship, and those fortunate enough to be within it.
There is so much I should say here, and yet all I can say is, why did she look so familiar? There is something of the vampire about her. Anyway, moving on. I'll listen to all 3 first.
We are from a noble, ancient race, an incomprehensible distance from this world. We long ago attained planetary peace. Meticulous manipulation of our genetic makeup helped us achieve vast intellects and flawless bodies. We harnessed boundless natural power and were freed from petty concerns and conflicts. Long after we had conquered the enemies from within, our world was threatened by a cosmic foe. The moon of a nearby planet was struck and shattered by a titanic asteroid. Fine meteorites would soon cover our planet with radioactive dust. Mutations from its weak, persistent radiation would have plunged us into genetic oblivion. Without means to evacuate our planet, we chose to shield ourselves and outlast the decaying radioactive material. Deep underground, we constructed vast arrays of medical stasis chambers, which could suspend life indefinitely. We converted an orbital station into a colony ship to take our finest and fittest scientists, technicians, and artisans to this planet. One of the few life-sustaining worlds within our reach. Their mission was to survive here and in time return to revive our race. Our colony vessel reached this planet and orbited while a section detached and landed on an unpopulated island continent. It served as the gateway for the orbiter's colony. What came to be known as Atlantis grew slowly around this outpost ship, populated over time by a great hybrid race. Here, our quest for knowledge continued, waiting for the distant day when our descendants would return to our planet for its reawakening.
When first we came, this young world was filled with barbaric tribes in constant battle for dominance. Within rare peoples, we saw potential for greatness and took upon ourselves the noble task that a distant benefactor surely performed with our own ancestors. the infusion of a refined genetic legacy. A major advancement in our sciences occurred when we alloyed rare earth metals with our own to hyperfocus and combine stasis and gravity fields. The effect created transportals, gates through planetary time and space. We were free to explore this world with unprecedented freedom and use the gates to seek promising Earth cultures at their crucial eras.
Speaking of freely exploring the free world with unprecedented freedom, I would like to freely offer some questions to myself on the road from this building to the next. If they had advanced computers, couldn't the reawakening be computer controlled? Oh, they have a doomed planet. They built an ark in space. They sent everyone except the telephone sanitizers to Earth. And whilst their planet, which terrifyingly sounded like eugenic dystopia, was bombarded with radiation. I hope they at least treated the mutants well. Oh my me, I'm getting so sick of this thing. Enough!
Like the other, shall not escape your doom.
Maybe I should have realized advanced Atlantean technology would be immune to bullets. Kinda hoping for the whole advanced technology susceptible to primitive attack thing, but I guess that's not gonna be the case. Finding out its weakness would be a worthwhile goal. Anyway, where was I? They brought genetic heritage to improve certain parts of humanity and key Earth cultures because nothing says promising like Mayan ritual sacrifice. Not to pick on the Mayans, in modern times they have their own different culture, and despite my personal enjoyment of Native American cultures, they weren't magically rosy either. But you don't improve by ignoring the faults of your own society. Perhaps they could see something deeper in the culture, of an ability to do better. Still though, the idea that humans can only improve by changing their genetic makeup and arguably no longer being human isn't all that comforting to me personally. I'm still wondering what that catastrophe seemed to be. It sounds like they landed during the time of humans. I mean, if Atlantis is near the Mediterranean, it could potentially have been caused by the eruption of Thera. This is a pretty building. I love the fountain. How come there are no chairs or beds anywhere? I guess I could sit on the bench above. Once again, those symbols on the caps of that semicircular wall look vaguely familiar in style. Looks like there's 2 session viewers in here.
Beneath the planet's surface flows an ocean of molten rock. The decay of unstable atoms drives this vast furnace. We have developed safe technologies to bring forth this clean and inexhaustible power. We have driven deep wells to harness a stable geothermal energy source. As on our world, we use crystalline magnetic resonance to manage energy. Magnetic resonance cells serve as dense and lossless energy stores. Our laminate crystal arrays can be tuned to convert energy to any form. Piezoelectric transducers directly convert electrical impulses to mechanical energy. Crystal filaments conduct power efficiently. Perfect lenses focus energy beams for excavation and construction. We also harness the boundless light and heat of the sun, the energy of winds, and the power of the planet's rivers and ocean tides. When Earth's cultural development assures their peaceful, constructive use, these energy technologies shall be disclosed to humankind.
The secret is crystals? Well, at least it's not mushrooms. I don't know about others, but I certainly don't feel right with this sense of noble overseer of my race. Of someone who is elevated as morally and technologically superior, deciding when I've been behaved enough. In order for that to work, the overseer must truly, honestly, properly be morally superior, and that is a difficult bar to leap over. Maybe their intentions are benign, but still, I can't get the genetic modification out of my head. I would want to be better, because I learned to be better, not because I am currently, at a biological level, incapable of being better. That's just depressing.
Our basic synthetic servant is assembled from the modules for energy storage, locomotion, object manipulation, basic logic, and synthetic intelligence. We have recently added a trans-dimensional field generator, which enables inorganic entities to modify their form and density, to access and maintain previously unreachable parts of the ship. At lower power settings, the servant's basic functions continue, but its trans-dimensional field is inoperative. A self-monitoring energy system automatically directs each servant unit to its beamed energy charging station. The station's energy conversion crystal is tuned to the specific frequency of that unit.
Looks like I might start finding this thing's weaknesses. It can only jump for limited periods of time because it has limited energy. And it can't even maintain its own form on the station itself very well, since it is appearing in and out at least twice so far, and this is where its home is. So it looks like its power stations are also pretty badly damaged now. I find the charging station, I yoink the charging crystal, and I can destroy it. Oh, I guess this is the kind of thinking that gets one evicted from the Atlantean School of Moral Superiority. Well, it's a good thing at least one of us here is a barbarian. I was thinking more about the Minoan eruption of Thera. The event occurred around the 1600s, BCE. More recent recorded history of the eruption of Krakatoa, an already massively destructive event, can help shed light on Thera, which was even more powerful than Krakatoa by at least a factor of 4. Whilst it's inconclusive, the destruction caused by Thera was enough to, even if it wasn't the catalyst for the fall of the Minoan civilization, at least significantly impact them from the destruction of some of their settlements, all the way to the potential weather effects it would have had on their civilization, whose economy and power were largely based on their seafaring abilities. Given this, if this outpost ship had landed nearby to Thera, the local magnitude of its power might have been enough to cause the outpost ship cause for concern to launch. Sort of like their radioactive bombardment on their home planet all over again, going into stasis to weigh out the disaster's effects while the rest of us have to sweep up the floors. And back again. This bridge connects to the first building I landed near. I suppose it's time to finally see what is inside. Oh, a map of this outpost ship. Nice! I can now go for 100% map completion, assuming all secret passages are marked. Oh, and buttons! So the blue building lights up and sends a signal to the corner building, which housed the first session viewers I watched and a bridge to the central area. Then the central area lights up. Okay, the general map of this place gives me the Crystal Maze vibes. Not too far off given some of the telepathy sessions I just witnessed. Oh my gosh, that bird wallpaper is adorable. Hey, another Atlantean symbol. I guess they uniquely mark the building.
This energy beam tool can emit frequencies from the low subsonic range to the ultra-high electromagnetic range. It is able to generate extreme level 1 spatial distortion fields. Variable power and focus enable its use in all stages of construction, including excavation, thermal fusing, cutting, and the transport of structural modules. To demonstrate our achievements to various cultures, we have employed these tools to aid in the building of their larger structures. To enable this device, an access code must be set. For safety, the tool initially activates at minimum power, where accidental discharge at life forms will cause only momentary nervous disruption.
The controls of this Star Travel stasis pod have been modified to prevent unauthorized activation. To initiate the process, the code panel must be fully set, and the field generating base must sense the presence of an occupant. Depressing the activation button completes the sequence and generates the field. Where environmental danger is imminent, the pod's code panel may be fully preset, leaving its system in a ready state. Once in stasis, the occupant may be revived only by the completion of an automatic timing sequence or by the manual deactivation of the stasis field. A precisely timed revival sequence then allows the gradual resumption of cellular functions.
You see a mining tool. I see a weapon that could have potentially affected the Guardian. Given how big that thing looked, I may have to convince him to stand in front of it first. That sounds like a very reverse form of weapon aiming.
This vessel is equipped with surface escape modules based at its key technical zones. These also serve as internal transport devices during normal conditions. The escape mode must be enabled at the main control panel in its zone. Once enabled, a module's escape switch may be used. These can only be launched while the ship is stationary. Each holds a life support system for short-term survival. A gravitational resonance beacon will aid in location and rescue efforts. Information and technical instructions for harnessing natural energies have been stored in each module. This will enable the establishment of longer-term and even permanent settlements if rescue cannot take place.
On one hand, very forward-thinking with the whole survival kit. On the other hand, why would you have an escape pod that isn't usable when the ship is in motion?
Our transportal time-gate technology was first developed on this planet by experimenting with new metallic alloys. Stasis fields, gravity fields, and crystalline energy lenses. We created a highly stable temporal gate. With few exceptions, both organic and inorganic matter can travel freely in both directions. A gate can be collapsed by the transport of several homeworld metals, as detailed in the technical banks. These metals will cause destructive resonance waves. These destabilize and overload the gate, ultimately collapsing the field. After the accidental implosion of one transportal, we ensured that items meant for temporal travel do not contain these metals.
I can't help but notice the examples that viewers showed were the gene pods that I've been taking through every gate since Egypt, and in larger quantities each time. So maybe that's why the Guardian refused to retrieve the pods. They were already in the other cultures when it was realized that they break their cool new tech. But at the same time, they are needed to power their other cool launch this ship tech. Well, that's a conundrum. It's a good thing I brought them here without realizing the dangers inherent in imploding through the time vortex, otherwise I might have decided to... Nah, I would have still risked it, actually. Being stranded in the past sucks. At least dying in the time vortex would have been incredibly metal. Oh, hey, another map. Wait a moment. That's not... I've seen that somewhere before. That's a central square in Maya. The building on the left is the place I had to climb several times because the puzzle hated me personally. Apparently, I just activated something in those temples. Perhaps I just reset all the puzzles by accident. Oh well, sucks to be the next person to use a time gate. What's this? Some people. No, some statues. A door at the base of them. Oh, Egypt. That's the temple area I sailed to. And the statues ahead down the path with the god obelisks. Apparently, I just did something there too. Perhaps another puzzle reset? Maybe I brought the snake back to life? Or maybe this is just a technical diagram and all I am doing is activating some annotation processor that says, pay attention to these lines. I worked a long time on them. Okay, one more temple to go. The temple in need of repair. Here's to hoping this temple is as peaceful as the others, especially the waterfall one. That is an abomination of dog kind. And that is an evil mermaid. And is that some kind of representation of a double helix? This must be the room where evil science happens. I knew there was a disturbing underbelly to this species. Hey, it's a snake-croc hybrid. Or a snake-alligator hybrid. This must be the place that they created that crocodile avatar of back. And the same place they also made the repeat after me lizard. Okay, let me get a better look at these creatures in the tubes. Okay, I'm staying out of the water now. It is a seashell, but it looks like some eyes are on the top. Also, I haven't seen the symbol for this building yet like the other three. I'm sure it's right under my nose. Oh, hey, it actually is. It's on the entire sodding floor. Here's the DNA. And here's what almost looked like a sock puppet. Oh my me, it's even more creepy up close. Ears are curly little horns too. It's a little demon dog. Ooh. Only 2 telepathy viewers in here. And after what I've seen, they have some splaining to do.
We have converted several immunization modules to introduce refined genetic material by pulse injection through the skin. Their casings are shaped and decorated appropriately for each culture. These pods are more than simple infusion devices. Each carries the pure genetic legacy of our race, preserved in a thermally fueled microstasis field. These containers are portable and immune to the passing of time. The pods also serve as emergency storage of our genetic heritage in the event that nature or miscalculation deals a fatal blow to our race.
I hope what you preserve also includes your history. I consider that far more important. I'm still wondering how the genetic infusion even is compatible with another species. Or more to the point, why they look human like me. Either way, my question was answered. 4 pods were shown here, and in the other time-day explanation viewer, the last one is decorated for here. So they should all be here now.
The genetic synthesis device is essentially a programmable integrator and replicator. It is able to analyze, reorganize, and synthesize genetic material. With it, and with the wisdom of many millennia, we have steered our development toward unprecedented heights. The power of this device, without the wisdom to employ it, could easily produce genetic creations that are wild, grotesque, and predatory, or microscopic, infectious, and deadly. We have established the highest safeguards to prevent removal of this genetic device from this outpost ship, and to prevent the ship from leaving this planet without it. The genetic infusion pods were produced with this device. Those pods must be reattached to the device, and the device itself must then be locked to the control panel to enable this ship's launch systems.
Well, that settles it. I already find their noble, proper application of genetic manipulation terrifying. So an improper application is even worse. Good thing no one has found this place yet beyond me and Alex. Alex. Why do I feel like I'm forgetting? I am. He had a journal entry for this area. Maybe I should finally finish the journal now and at least get a clearer picture of what he was doing last, before the Guardian lived up to its name. He sent the journal and camera through. So the last button is Easter Island and is in contemporary time, hence how I found them. Okay, I watched all the TVs, and I poked all the buttons. Maybe the central building can do something now. Oh nice, the control panel works, I think. I can set and cycle through different symbols for the buildings. Okay, let's try this for real. I think I know what symbols go with each. All the buildings had a symbol prominently displayed. I'll just reset this and... Wait. Hang on, of course. I knew I recognized these symbols before. The symbol on the left. The one that looks like a sickle with 2 dots or an ear. He was on Easter Island. It extruded out of the Moai statue. It was actually tied to the eyes, the Rapa Nui form of representing eyes. At least I think it's their form of representing eyes. I saw this language before on Easter Island with the Moai, the cave, and the Rongo Rongo board. Neat. Okay, this should be rather simple. Only the creepy building with the grim creations had an easily missable symbol on the floor. I guess the intent was to make sure, before the person unlocked the door, they visited each of the temples and listened to all the information first. Come on, memory, don't fail me now. I can't remember which one of these symbols went with each one of these buildings. I might have these two mixed up, actually. Okay, you don't need to kill my ears. I got it backwards. Not everyone has perfect memory. Alright, now we're in business. Can I go in now? The answer is yes. Looks like an elevator. Not sure what the symbols mean, but I can guess. I am in the ground floor. A dot above is probably the first floor, and the dot below probably is the basement. I don't want to go to a creepy basement. Of course. The button doesn't work. Gee, what a surprise. Well, basement it is then. The crystal plinth in the center looks like it can take another crystal in the indentation. Not sure what the writing means. The hologram viewer did mention an escape pod running through the part of the ship. Perhaps the elevator can turn into one. And the rock immediately in front of me looks like a face. Of course. Well, they did make Moai, so they probably really had a thing for rock faces on rock faces. Although this basement looks really messed up. And where's that zappy stuff coming from? Whoa, 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 okay, right, okay. Not going to risk shooting him again. That did nothing before, and I think I have a better idea. This is a charging station, right? And he needs charging from the crystal. Well, suppose, just throwing out this hypothetical, he doesn't have the crystal anymore. Then what? Not just that, but the elevators seem to have a slot for the crystal. Maybe if I put that in, I can either activate the escape pod or access the first floor. Okay, when I grab this, he will be mad. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared. But I must do what needs to be done. If I'm fast enough, maybe in his uncharged state, he won't be able to transportal over to me just yet.
My charge. Resume my charge.
Not falling for that
Return the
trick,
crystal
kiddo.
now.
Yoink! Nope, no refunds. Okay, place it in, hit the button, and please work. Okay, made it. Now I'm just trapped on the upper floor with an angry rampant AI that was strong enough to put my friend into limbo into a time vortex. Whatever things I have to puzzle out here, I better do it fast. I better take this crystal with me.